just thanks Scott Coker and Showtime and all of you for coming. Like I said, this is a new venture for me, but I enjoy it. So I've been blessed, and I hope to see all you here on the 4th, and wherever I'm fighting, I'm going to win. That's what I do in life. Anything is possible through the Lord Jesus, so that's what I try to do. Thank you, and thanks. Well, that's a good question, because I think my motivation is I just love life. I think that we use excuses in life all the time that we can't do anything. And I'm here to say you keep saying 47, but I'm 20, because if y'all remember that, I wrote a book that I have multiple personalities, so this is a 20-year-old that's talking to y'all now. So, but I just want to prove to people you can do anything that you want to do as long as you're going to work at it. And at the same time, I love this sport. I respect these guys a great deal. I think they're some of the finest athletes in the world. And it's coming from a guy that has done almost everything. Like I said, I've been on not just the bobsled Olympic team, but also track and field Olympic team, along with football. And I consider these guys here some of the best athletes in the world. Well, one of the things that I've been doing is I've been out in San Jose, aka training a great deal. And and you're right, I'm a businessman. I don't know if you guys know, I have a pretty large company. And but I take this very seriously. When I said that I was going to do it, I walked away from my company. I have someone running it, and he's not doing a great job. He's all right, but I went into the gym, and I didn't really get in this to become a fighter. And reality is I'm a little bit older, but I can throw down when I need to. But I just waited and wanted to train more, because a lot of guys that stepped into this sport from my profession and really was not prepared. Well, when I stepped in, I fought a guy, Greg, and Greg was young like myself. He had a few more fights than I did, but he was young like myself, and I'm still a young fighter. My next fight that I'm going to fight, I want to step up. I have told the guys in the gym, if the talent is not going to be better than what I fought, I don't want to do it. I'd rather just train. So if I'm going to do that, I have to train a little bit more. I just can't do what I did last time. I respect these guys too much. It's very hard. He talked about that 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo, but that didn't do me any good when I got into this sport. I walked into AKA a little over a year ago and got into an arm bar by a 170-pound-year-old little guy. And so that just told me there how much I needed to learn. So that's one reason that I've taken a long time before I step back into the cage. I wanted to train a little bit more, so the next time I step into the cage, you guys are going to go, wow, he's really improved, because I think that's what I got to do if I'm going to be a fighter. Well, before I got into it, I was trying to encourage a lot of guys, and there's a lot of guys that love to fight. And one of the things that I was telling them is they got to go to a good training camp first. You just can't just step off the football field and come into this sport and think you're going to do well, because you won't. And some of the guys now, after training, they're going into good camps and starting to train now. And I think there's going to be a couple of guys now that want to step in and do it. And that's what I said is they got to go to a good training camp, because if they don't do that, they're not going to succeed at it.
You're going to attempt to have a match with Shaq?
Shaq, it's funny, Shaq said he wanted to do it, but I'm not sure if Shaq is serious or not. Sometimes Shaq talks a lot, but I'm not sure if he's serious. He said the only guy he's going to fight is a guy over in Japan or China. And I advise Shaq, before you do that, you better train, because, I think some guys take this sport very lightly, and I think they're going to get hurt. And that's one reason I say I respect these guys so much, and I love this sport. I was telling Dan earlier, I think this should be an Olympic sport, because there's more MMA fighters from around the world than there are countries that have baseball teams. So I don't know why it's not an Olympic sport, and I'm rooting for it to become one. And I'm rooting for the salaries to go up. I started in the USFL, so I'm one of these guys. I always want to see more money to the fighters, more money. Scott probably don't like me for that, but more money to things like that. But I'm that type of player.
Herschel, did you have any trouble trying to get the fighters to take you seriously? Because I know a lot of media and fans may have looked at your entry into MMA as, okay, this is a sideshow, or he's not serious. And I'm curious how the fighters that you train with responded to you.
Well, I think the fighters outside, AKA, because I train at AKA out in San Jose, California. I trained with Cain Velasquez, John Fitch, Swig, Josh Koscheck, Luke, well, a lot of those guys. But anyway, what was fun is I think when I first walked into the gym, they really wasn't sure. And then when I spent a couple of months there, they knew then I was for real. And that's when they started taking me serious. And I even told them, and I told my trainers there, Javier Mendez, I said, guys, I want to do this sport, but after a couple of months, if you guys don't think I can do it, I won't fight. I'm not going to embarrass this sport. And after a couple of weeks, they said, oh, I know you can do this. And I think they started taking me serious. And then I think the MMA community then started accepting me at that time, because I think some of the fighters told the other guys that I can do it. I wouldn't do this if I couldn't do it. When I said that I was going to do it, I knew I could do this. Or I'm not going to do it. I like excellence. So that's why I said I love this thing. I love it. I love this. And that's why I'm looking forward to December the 4th. My last fight was January the 30th or whatever. But come December the 4th, I want everyone to show up, because you're going to see a whole new fighter. I've now have become that 20-year-old, now I'm the 22-year-old. So you're going to see somebody totally different.
Is this more of just, having a few fights, getting involved in the sport since you do love it so much, or are you looking at a serious title run? You really want to become a champion in the sport?
No, I take one fight at a time. I'm not looking for, I didn't look for a belt. And what's so funny about it, I'm so naive and stupid that, my first fight, I gave all my money to charity. And now since I gave all my money to charity, every church in America has been writing me for me to fight again. So I got a problem. So I think I'm fighting for churches around the country. Let's do this.
All right, see you.